How do you rap about losing your job? Well, one now former WWE wrestler is doing just that on social media. Several WWE talents released this week again. Significant. I'm Kev Kellum. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. We'll dive into that story. So much more. Triple H has been seen for the first time since undergoing heart surgery, and we're launching a brand new show at Sportskeeda Wrestling. More to get into right here. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! What's up, everybody? It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kev Kellum here, dealing with mic issues. So you see me holding my mic. That's why I'm doing this now for hopefully what is a solid show. All right, let's jump right into it. I'm Kev Kellum, Jeremy Bennett. A lot to talk about. We have these releases, these unfortunate releases again last night. And in another batch, there was about 7 this time, 7 or 8. Am I correct in that number?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, I'd say 3 of them hit row: Tegan, John Morrison, and Jackson Riker, and Drake Maverick, and I think one more I'm forgetting. But
one of the more controversial ones was Top Dolla. Top Dollar is the very large character from the Hit Row faction who was rapping. He was dropping freestyle raps every Friday. He's a legitimate rapper, as most of the guys in that faction are. Ashanti Adonis and the indie wrestling darling who became an NXT North American champion, Isaiah Swerve Scott. These 3 also had a partner, B-Fab, who was released a few weeks ago in that batch of WWE releases. It was said that the WWE was very high on this team. They had their own vignettes. They were called up from NXT before they even won multiple titles there and had a significant run. There was talk that Top Dollar was very well liked for how he kind of created something for himself and had a real character, and they felt organic, like they were legitimately a hip-hop crew that could be turned into a real faction. And they get released. Budget cuts is the official reason for this. But with Top Dollar, he's already dropped a freestyle referencing AEW, NWA, New Japan, and he says thank you, and he does hashtag 89 days. So yes, he is under a 90-day non-compete, as most of these wrestlers are. Tegan Knocks, unfortunately, released knee injuries, plaguing her career at the worst possible time, but the call-up here a few months ago is pretty good, and she formed a successful tag team with Shotzi, and then gets let go. Kind of unfortunate. And then another shocking one in this batch, John Morrison, former Intercontinental Champion, back in the company for the past few years, had a very high-profile match at WrestleMania, tag teaming with The Miz against Damian Priest and rapper Bad Bunny. Very popular match, very successful match. He was a part of the more significant physical portions of it. His wife, Frankie Monet, a.k.a. Taya Valkyrie, released in the last batch of releases a few weeks ago. She went off about this on social media, so the fallout has been pretty big from this batch of releases.
Yeah, Sean Ross Sapp posting from Fightful Select earlier this morning. Backstage news on Hit Row in their release. They hadn't heard anything specifically about Hit Row as a unit outside of AJ Francis's polarizing reactions on Twitter that did carry over to some within the company. A couple of internal WWE sources compared it to Greg Hamilton getting a little too comfortable, and they are told that that this was not a specific factor leading to his release or of Hit Row, but an internal observation that others enjoyed his approach within the company. At the same time, one of the sources said that Top Dollar was highly regarded for his hosting ability and dedication to the Hit Row team. He was once considered to host Raw Underground before they went in a different direction, of course, with Shane McMahon. So there were some significant creative pitches for Hit Row. They did not, Sean Ross Sapp, unable to confirm how far they got with those pitches internally, who should lead the group as singles talent, which of course we reported a while back was going to be Top Dollar and not Swerve, and they were going to team up Swerve and Ashanti. So they've already got interest in multiple companies in bringing in Swerve for sure. But very interesting to note, Kev, though, comparing this to Greg Hamilton.
Yeah.
And how he got really outspoken on social media, and
he was not cut in a budget cut.
And it might have
reportedly for other reasons.
It might have bit him in the ass and ended up biting everybody else in the ass too.
Greg Hamilton was a ring announcer. You heard him on on several different shows, ringside at Smackdown and the Smackdown crew of live events. So he worked many things for WWE the past couple of years. He is cut by WWE in a social media exchange with a rapper. I know we keep bringing up rappers, but there was a rapper who basically used a recording of him from one of his ring introductions.
Yeah.
And Hamilton lost it on this guy on social media and made a reference towards WWE is going to come after you for this or something like that.
Yep. He's going to get the lawyers on him or something,
So not ideal to say that you're going to pitch WWE's legal dogs on somebody like that. Not a great look. I feel for him though. I feel for anyone, especially, I mean, wrestlers too, but you understand there's a lot of people who lost their jobs with WWE this year who are not wrestlers, by the way. There are people that work in the office in Stanford that had their jobs lost. They merged different departments, budget cuts. And WWE's released how many wrestlers in the last year? Something like over 100 in the last year and a half.
It's insane.
It's worth noting, I think all of this is mostly induced by the pandemic. How much can we tour with? How much do we actually need? How much do we actually need to develop? And when you have a machine that big, the turnover is going to come big. That may sound really heartless, okay? But as this continues to happen, I have to look at this objectively and say, why is this happening? Is this a legitimate budget thing where they think our budget, we don't want to spend this type of money on talent anymore? We feel if we spend the money on marketing or we spend the money in another way that we can benefit from it. I'm starting to think of what is the logic behind that. Are they actually saying budget cuts? Because, yeah, we could spend the money on talent and have a bunch of people that we're not using on television and progressing significantly. But you're releasing people, too, that were just on television. They were just it's not like you just scaled some of these down. Drake Maverick got caught. I could see that, and it's sad, and I like Drake. But he's been scaled down recently. You haven't seen him on television nearly as much. John Morrison, to a degree, you haven't seen him on TV a whole lot, since the Miz split. Miz had an injury. Morrison went on his own, and then he kind of just faded into the background, right? And I'm not saying that I don't want anyone to think I think less of these talents. I'm just trying to look at how the pieces are moving on the table,
I had just posted not too long ago here by Fightful as well. It looks like Top Dollar responded to reports that he rubbed people the wrong way in WWE. Dave Meltzer actually came out with a report as well that he had rubbed a ton of people the wrong way while he was in NXT and started to get the same reputation on SmackDown. Top Dollar then tweeted, here's what rubs people the wrong way: standing up for your own. When Brie was released and I called the office myself to tell them they made a mistake, standing up for yourself. People in the PC told me Hit Row wouldn't work for a year and a half, and I never took their advice. Trust me, I got plenty of stories I can tell about how I was disrespected, but just took it on the chin like a professional. Even with the video I released today, it was all professionalism, but I'm not going to let these BS reports ruin my reputation. I got tea I can spill too. Maybe he could get on Lash Legend, get on NXT 2.0 with Lash Legend and spill some tea.
Who knows? Maybe Triple H comes in and swoops some of these guys up and says, all right, you want to stick around? You want to be on TV?
Man, Triple H just get his own promotion at this point, right?
He had one.
He had one. Man, I mean, geez, I it's like, God, just when you think that this crap is done and they drop a bomb on us last night,
They drop a bomb on you, but here's the thing, Todd Laney saying this. WWE's become a joke. They released a bunch of talented wrestlers over budget cuts. No wonder the ratings are so low. Are the ratings that low? Because SmackDown is not low. It's the most watched TV show for professional wrestling.
Raw's taking it in the chin, but SmackDown's
Raw's taking it in the chin because they got to go up against Monday Night Football. Yeah, and there's been a couple of hot Monday Night Football games, right?
Yeah, SmackDown's been pretty good for, I guess, network.
But then you look at the demographic numbers for SmackDown, it's kicking ass. It's kicking real ass.
Yeah.
And it's competing with, major sports and other shows on Friday night, and Fox can look at those numbers and sell on them, right? And also now they're rerunning SmackDown on FS1. I saw that last night. They're rerunning it on FS1. So it's going to become a little bit more profitable, and they're going to start dipping into doing more reruns with the show, which I don't understand why you can't do. Like on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning, if I got up and if I didn't catch it on Friday doing comedy shows, I'd be like, hell yeah. You know, I end up watching SmackDown more on Saturday, like my Saturday morning cartoons. No, it's now SmackDown.
Yeah, I know. I noticed on my DVR, I have YouTube TV, and that it'll record all instances. And I know FS2 runs a rerun of SmackDown a lot too. So,
and I understand the sentiment for people just being upset with all these different people being released.
Yeah.
Just fans
well, and when you see how much money
Smith saying here, WWE is bogus, shaking my head.
Well, when you see how much money WWE is making it, that's where a lot of people don't understand budget cuts, because they're reeling in so much money that they probably could have still kept a lot of these people. But
everyone just looks at that money easy, but this is a massive company too.
Well, and I mean, they never did book John Morrison the right way ever since he returned. I mean, they booked him as a joke, and he is a main event performer.
Seems like he had fun doing that stuff, though. You know what I mean?
With the Miz, yeah, I'm sure with the Miz, I'm sure he did, but you know,
is whenever I hear people say that, oh, they're booking him like a joke, I think he enjoys this. I think he's having a fun time.
But there comes to a point where you want to kind of be taken seriously too, a little bit, especially when the Miz is gone for a certain amount of time with injury, and then with Dancing with the Stars. I mean, they basically didn't really do him any favors.
Glenn saying cancel the Royal Rumble. There is not enough to do 30 man.
Somebody, I don't know if he was on when we did the breaking news for about 15 minutes last night. Somebody said the exact same thing. They could have enough people for a Royal Rumble.
Justin Truett, who has a devil emoji, says Vince getting ready for a going out of business sale. They're not. Where do people make these illogical, like, speculative points? We're talking about them recording record profits. Then they're making budget cuts, right, to talent. Yeah. And then this happens. They're not going out of business. A lot of people think just signed $3 billion television deals in the last 5 years. Not going out of business.
No, a lot of people think they're going to sell. They're not going to go out of business. That's for damn sure. But a lot of people think they're going to sell because of all these releases. And I don't know if that's even true or not either. I mean, they hoarded talent during the pandemic. And so now they're unloading it all.
Jesse Hyde says, wait until Triple H comes back. Oh, we have a story about that. Triple H coming down with some health issues and having a very serious heart procedure a while back. He has emerged from the shadows in the corporate game of WWE. We'll talk about that in just a minute here. I want to continue to get your comments on screen because I know this is a big thing. Continue to let us know what you think of the WWE releases. And we'll be taking your questions, by the way. This is Friday.
Freestyle Friday.
We do a Freestyle Friday. I know we're halfway into the show, but I wanted to bring that up. Andrew says they will eventually cause the pay-per-view cutback half the amount until they get more new talent. No, I don't think it's going to be a problem. You're still going to have you're not getting less WWE television, less pay-per-views. That they are not obstructed from that because they cut this much talent. Because guess what? They still have NXT, and there's still a crop of people coming out into the system. I think what we're seeing now too is a harder churn from WWE in terms of people come into our thing. Oh, you're here. Maybe a portion of you get to stay for 10, 15 years and have a great career, or you're here for 5 or 6 years and you're gone, right? I think you're going to start to see more people here for like 3 or 4 years, right? In the mid-card system. And WWE's done that before. You know, they've gone through talent, people come in and out of the company. I just think now, because it's on social media and so much more exposed, and people pick their individual favorites. You know, we have Richard Rinaldi saying, give the fans what they want. This sucks, right? This is a joke. I think there's a lot of fans who want different things here too. And WWE is a circus. It's not like AEW. You kind of know what the audience is. The WWE audience is so diverse and all over the place and has all these different little pockets, right? That have to be served. So saying that is ridiculous, because I heard some people say like, oh yeah, I didn't like those guys, so I'm happy they got released. And I'm just like, you're awful, because you're just rooting for someone to lose their job. Like that's ridiculous here. And then already you have the speculation, like Bobby saying, Tegan Knocks going to show up in AEW. Well, here's the thing. A lot of these people have 90-day non-compete clauses. If they just show up anywhere, it likely could only be on independent events. I can tell you the independents are going to benefit from a lot of these WWE releases in the last year, more than AEW and more than any other televised wrestling organization. Our independent wrestling organizations, like the one I work for here in Chicago, AAW, Freelance Wrestling is running tonight. PWG is running again in California. GCW, which runs on both coasts right now in the United States, and maybe even your European groups like your ICWs in progress. And you could have someone who got released from WWE wrestling for one of those groups over in Europe. WWE has a distribution deal with them. It could somehow still be on Peacock. So it's crazy times here, man. Crazy times indeed.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. I think GCW has already snatched up some people. I think Brett Lauderdale, who runs that company, I think he's got his eye on Drake Maverick. He applauded him for his vignette that he posted. Clearly, Drake was ready for this moment because he had a 5-minute vignette that was posted right after the announcements. GCW, AAW got get some people on the horn there. Kev, get some people signed up for some of them shows, right?
Mm-hmm. Joseph coming in here. He's not feeling it. Already, it's the I was disrespected story. Podcasters need
podcasters
stop crying over WWE cuts because people lose their jobs every day and they move on. I suggest you move on to the next thing. He wants us to change the topic. Joseph, it's okay. It's okay. All right. What lady turned down your drink at the bar? What happened, Joe? What's going on here, Joe?
Oh boy.
Joe, we're having fun here, buddy. Calm down. It's all right. Let's jump into our next topic here as we're moving along. We will take all your questions as well. Freestyle Friday coming up here at the end of the show. Segment 2, Triple H. He has suffered a very serious cardiac event, as it was described. They did not call it a heart attack, but a cardiac event, right? And he expressed gratitude to everyone showing their support for him. This was a while back, a few months ago now, and he has made an appearance. Video surfacing from a construction worker at the new WWE headquarters that are being built in Stamford, Connecticut, not too far from the original facilities of Titan Towers. And he's just walking around, seemed fine. We have not seen much social media or even, in public view of Triple H. Looked good. Didn't look bad, mind you, from a small clip where he's walking with a group of people.
Yep. It's a TikTok user, Danielle Desma 410, posted in several videos, of course, as they are touring the new facilities there. I tell you what, though, man, especially if they do, take over or whatnot, if he shows up, man, he's going to get a hell of an ovation, So a lot of people miss Triple H and are glad that he's kind of getting back to normal now.
And then obviously I love how people rush from, I had a heart attack, he's never going to wrestle again. That wasn't the first thing I thought. You know what I mean? This guy's north of 50. The times he would wrestle would be very limited at best, even if this wasn't an issue, right?
He said himself before he even had this, he goes, it takes him a good 3 to 4 months to even prepare to get a return to the ring. So yeah.
And he suffered some pretty serious injuries in a handful of matches in the last 5-6 years, doing just that, sporadic schedule where you're only wrestled once or twice a year while still being an executive, right?
Yeah.
And this heart issue was a genetic one. So this wasn't a degenerative one. This is a genetic issue. I can tell you, someone who has a brother who had a very serious heart problem. I had to get my ticker looked at a month ago. That was kind of scary, right? It's a real thing. It just wasn't my idea, to think that is he gonna wrestle again or something like that too? I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a thing here. Crazy ideas. People saying Sinclair will buy AEW.
They have hard enough time running Ring of Honor. So
no, they have a hard enough time not getting hacked. You hear about that?
That too. Yeah.
When they got hacked, it was really bad. You had entire TV stations that couldn't run commercials for them for a while. I've worked at a radio station. You tell me we can't run commercials for a week? Oh, boy, someone's in real trouble there too.
Old serial killer and zero cool from Hackers got in there.
Yeah,
messed up with the tapes.
Hack the planet.
I always loved that. I always loved the when they were playing the Prodigy song Voodoo People. They played that in that movie. I always loved it. And they show the tape arms, the cassette tapes, or the motorized things where they played the commercials and they're like fighting over each other. I always loved that scene in Hackers.
And of course, people still upset about these cuts. This is ridiculous. There isn't going to be any WWE if they keep releasing superstars. Kevin Mackey texting in. Mackey, some people have that idea, but there is still going to be a WWE. They're just going to have new talent come up, or they're going to move people around or do more with the talent they already have. There will still be a WWE. Let's jump into another story here that is growing by the day and moves with even more fluidity. And this is Charlotte versus Becky. This is the most talked about match this weekend for Survivor Series. We've almost 20 minutes in. We haven't even mentioned Survivor Series. Go check out our full preview. Kenny Bolin, quite hilarious, running down everything with Survivor Series. And also check out this tomorrow. This is really, really cool. You're going to be overseeing this. This is our big 4-on-4 trivia battle. Look at the teams there. Team Sid, Jose G. We'll also have Alex McCarthy of Talk Sport. We will have Sat E joining us as well. That is Team Sid. I will be on Rick Uccino's team along with John Alba and Kate Hensler of Fightful. John Alba of Ad Free Shows. Look at that. 4-on-4 elimination. This is coming tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, and 2:30 a.m. IST time. You can also get this on demand. Fun little thing to watch right before Survivor Series. Now you're hosting this, Jeremy.
I am.
And I know I'm performing in it, but I have to ask you. You're the host. I'm going to call this right down the line.
I always do.
What team do you think is going to win?
Ooh. I tell you what, I mean, after Sid put that spanking on you, but that's only a part of it. But you know, it's head to head. We're going to have one from each team head to head. You know, can Sid be beat head to head? That's the thing, because he might be the sole survivor after all this. You never know. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Interesting. If you guys are watching with us, definitely enjoy this. This will be a fun thing for you guys to do here. Scott Burke saying a very quiet pay-per-view. I don't think this is a quiet pay-per-view. You just had Roman Reigns make some headlines here on national television on the Tonight Show. You had a crop of superstars, including Big E and Randy Orton, over on the Late Night Show on CBS with Stephen Colbert. And you have them kind of teasing something with The Rock. They're now teasing something with The Rock showing up, though they have not advertised The Rock. So that is interesting. They are saying this is the 25th anniversary of The Rock. Jimmy Fallon brought that up. It was emphasized specifically. I can tell you from talking to people, that was by design. So that is certainly interesting here. Now, the match that everyone's talking about, though, wrestling fans are talking about, is this real life situation that developed from an on-screen segment where they're supposed to exchange the championships after the draft between Charlotte and Becky, longtime friends, also longtime rivals in the ring. But rivals in the ring doesn't mean you can't be friends backstage. But backstage, they both went off at each other at this awkward thing where some people are supposing that Charlotte went into business for herself because she didn't want to look too bad in this title exchange, where Becky was scripted to, at one point, hold both titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it went a different direction. And then Charlotte gets escorted out of the building. Our very own Kenny Bolin here, the Kingmaker, the man who once managed John Cena, saying, if you get escorted out of the building after something like this, you're the one who's getting your ass whipped when the match comes up. So that's what he's saying here. You can check out that full preview. Kenny Bolin and Sid did that preview today. That is up on our channel. We'll drop that in the podcast feed as well. What's the latest on these two?
Yeah, WrestleVotes, usually a pretty reputable Twitter handle. WrestleVotes posted that from what they gather, there is some legitimate animosity between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. No surprise there. A feeling of disdain between them both. But with that said, WWE is expecting 100% professionalism on Sunday in their matchup. However, I do know the finish has been greatly debated. And Becky Lynch, she recently had an interview with Graham Matthews of Bleacher Report and said that she doesn't think her friendship with Charlotte can be repaired while they're both in wrestling, which is also kind of interesting to note as well. But clearly, you don't want to, look at that. You don't want to, let personal things ruin your professional career. You have to be out there. You have to go out there and be professional. And I think both women are going to do that on Sunday.
I do. This is a little bit of a relief for those people that thought maybe these two guys, these two ladies weren't going to get along here. But I think when the bell rings, people get in the ring and do the right thing by the business. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart did it. Despite the screw job, they still got in the ring and, didn't go out of their way to hurt each other or anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
certainly, I don't think New York is going to be quiet about it when these two get out there.
Oh, no, it's going to be hot.
This is a Brooklyn crowd. This is a smart wrestling crowd. They let you have it. I think they're going to go off. It'll be certainly interesting to see it. Also, they're both heels. But you definitely see fans, I think, turning towards Becky Lynch in this whole thing.
I'd assume so, yeah. She's going to be probably getting the most cheers out of this whole thing.
All right, let's jump right into it. Fire off your questions here to end off a Friday. We always do this every single Friday. We fire them off here. Fire off Q&A right now, a Freestyle Friday. You shoot
Jose in the chat talking some smack.
Jose, who's going to be on the losing team, Team Sid. Tuning in a little late, guys. Kevin, get ready for Team Sid Rock to lay off the Smackdown on your candy ass tomorrow. Wow, that's just adorable.
I gotta start writing. I gotta get the trivia questions prepared tonight. Probably we'll do that during Smackdown and Rampage tonight. I will be getting those put together.
Trying to get here. Paul wants to know, why isn't NXT a part of Survivor Series? It's an interesting thing. I'm sitting on a 2019 Survivor Series chair. It was here in Chicago, and they had all 3 brands. And
that was the only year, right? Was that the only year they did all 3 brands?
It was the only year they did all 3 brands. Yeah, that was a great Survivor Series.
It was, man. When you had NXT superstars bleeding into Raw and SmackDown that you never saw before, it was a lot of fun. And then they just treated it like a redheaded stepchild again. So
never understood that. Never got
no.
that. A lot of people with different ideas here. Glenn saying, "Hey, who's going to tune in to SmackDown tonight?" Yep, if you are, then you're really not upset about the cut. So all the people that are saying this is ridiculous, there's still people, you're spending time here. Richard saying, "I spend thousands of dollars over 30 years on WWE. I enjoy every minute of it now, but it's embarrassing. Over 100 wrestlers released. Never done that before." I can understand that. This is something for people to process. Charleston said, "So no Royal Rumble?" The Royal Rumble is happening. It'll be January 29th. That is going down in St. Louis. It's going to be in a huge stadium. They're going to draw a big crowd for that. Probably over 25 to 30,000, I would assume, at minimum.
Just
pretty well.
Google list of WWE personnel, and you can still see how many wrestlers are still employed with the company.
There'll definitely be some NXT talent in those 30-man matches, though, for sure. I would assume, right?
Especially at the women, I'd assume.
Yeah. I'm trying to follow up on a question here. I know people asked, but I don't want to comment about it and then be off about what is going on here. A question about Hulk Hogan and his health.
Yeah.
Do you know about this? What is the update, guys? I'm trying to read up on this.
I don't know. All Ric Flair's been talking about how he's not in good health right now, and that's about all we really know at this point. So nothing's ever been confirmed that he is in bad health. Just something that Flair had brought up recently.
Philip coming up here. The Rock buzz is getting louder and louder. Percentage chance he wrestles at WrestleMania the next year. It is getting louder. As I mentioned, you had Roman Reigns bring it up. Or have it brought up to him by Jimmy Fallon, which makes me think that's a part of the produced segment to do this, right?
Yeah.
And Phil goes, Roman responds to you here. He says on television, "You guys know that guy, right?" He goes to the studio and "You guys know The Rock, right?" "Oh, he debuted at the Survivor Series. I did that too. I did that too." So,
well, is it WrestleMania that The Rock is going to be out of the country filming, or was it Survivor Series?
Survivor Series. Now. Okay. The same thing happened with Ronda Rousey. She was filming some type of movie. There was talk that she was going to show up in WWE. Everyone knew she was signed, but when was she going to show up? No one expected her at the Royal Rumble because the idea was, well, she's doing this movie thing, so she's not going to be there. And then she was at the Royal Rumble. Right?
But apparently he's like in Australia though. So
Jetstream plane? You tell me you can't get Rock can't book a private plane to fly to New York City?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Also, Rock runs the production.
Yeah.
Just because they're filming in Australia doesn't mean they're filming with Rock that day. It's worth noting that when you're filming a TV show, that isn't just, oh, well, he's just stuck there.
Good. Yeah. A lot of planning though with all those time differences.
Sure. Absolutely. There is. Now, am I saying this is happening? No. There could be no Rock.
I think they're saving it for Hollywood.
In 2023 when they run WrestleMania there in LA.
Yep.
Or they start the angle this year,
Good.
But certainly this would be a wild thing. It's New York City. It's a big media market. It's a lot of attention. Why would you tease this on the Tonight Show and have the host of the Tonight Show bring this up? Why would you go in that direction? And especially if that was pre-produced, why would you go in that direction? Here we go. Tyrone Randall. What are your guys' thoughts? You're asking for opinion here about maybe Alberto Del Rio coming back to the WWE. Alberto Del Rio has been away from the WWE for quite some time. He's had a lot of very, very serious legal issues in his life. I don't need to comment on those. And some of those have been absolved of his name and other ones have not. He did an unsuccessful MMA bout against Tito Ortiz. And that was about it. He's wrestled sporadically here and there, but he's had some serious problems. All right. What do I think about him coming back to WWE? He's teased it significantly. I just don't see it in the cards, but wilder things have happened. I just want the guy to be healthy, and maybe being involved in wrestling isn't the right thing for him in this point in his life. He could be one of those guys that falls under that category of you better be a real exceptional person if WWE is going to start looking at talent above a certain age. I would say that too. It sounds very dehumanizing, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think the bridge has been burnt for WWE, so I wouldn't expect him. I don't expect him to come back there. I don't know. I really don't know.
Scott Burke says WWE taking Flair's legacy. This is a thing we touched on yesterday, Scott. Flair went off about them taking his legacy apparently because they own specific championship belts that he won in war and performances in his career. So I don't know if it's a very debatable issue. They're taking his legacy. I don't know if they take his legacy, but they own the footage of every great match he's ever had on television, right? So do they take your legacy? That's their show. They get to own it. You performed in it. So it's like, what did you sign up for? What did you agree to as a performer? And then in perpetuity, what do they get to promote? So it's a debatable thing. That is something Rick brought up. He does have a new podcast he's relaunching. So there's some conjecture on Rick's part that I think is leading to him kind of laying out more things he's upset about with WWE for the sake of a podcast that will have advertising on it and different things going on. What do you think, bud?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been things that he's been saying to get in the news lately, and that's by design.
A lot of people commenting here. What about? I don't understand this question. James Brown, what about the WWE turned into Becky lose actor Survivor Series? James, I don't even understand that sentence. I don't understand that sentence here. Molly's with us again. Thank you so much, Molly. Always with us. Appreciate the support, Molly. CRC Christopher on Cooper. Guys, do you think BD, Bryan Danielson, turned heel on AEW Dynamite, or the way he's been in AEW has been heel the whole time? I'm starting to feel like he's been heel, and I love it. I don't think he's been heel the whole time. He's just a little bit more openly ruthless. And then this week, he kind of turned in that direction. I think that's a Virginia hometown crowd. The guy I'm speaking about, Hangman Page, just won the title on Sunday, like less than 4 days before. And he's out there with his boys, the Dark Order, and it's all about him. But reminding you, I came here to win gold, and I beat a bunch of different people, and I won this tournament, and now I'm the number one contender, and I want to take you on, and I'm going to let you know that I won at WrestleMania, and everyone booed him because you brought up WWE, and you don't do that here unless you're going to make fun of WWE, all right? Don't come here and be happy that you worked at WWE, that type of thing. So I don't know if he's been healed the whole time, but, AEW has that flexibility. If there's a double standard, they have that flexibility to kind of jump their characters around a whole lot in a way that maybe somebody else doesn't, because the perception and the formula and the path that they've already kind of laid out are still new in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I thought that was tremendous on Wednesday, but Bryan knew that he was not going to be cheered, against Hangman, so he decided to embrace it, and I thought it was well done. So if it does, if it's basically if this is a heel, I mean, he's going to be basically between now and whenever he takes on Hangman Page, he's going to be taking on all comers of the Dark Order. So he's got Colt Cabana in Chicago on
I don't have tickets for that. I'm in Chicago. I might have to get tickets for
that. You better. So obviously the Chicago crowd's going to cheer for Colt. So so he's going to work heel for the time being, and then but it's not like I thought it was really well done by Bryan on Wednesday.
James Brown, everyone has this idea, as we always say with our Q&A. People just want to ask us, can you tell me if my fantasy booking is going to happen? Right? He goes, what about Braun Strowman coming back to the Survivor Series to join the Smackdown team? It's worth noting there is an open spot on the Smackdown team. I believe that'll be finalized probably tonight, unless they want to keep that a mystery going into the pay-per-view. I would keep that a mystery going into the pay-per-view. There's me. I would keep that a surprise, and fun returns or surprise entries in a match like this would be interesting. I'm okay with that. I'd be all right if they kept it a surprise. What do you think?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I don't know. I thought the door would be open for Braun to return to WWE. I don't think that's completely shut, so it is possible. I don't know though. I haven't heard any rumblings about that. I know he has indie dates coming up, so I wouldn't hold my breath on it, so to speak. I wouldn't close
He
my.
does have indie dates. I was speaking with some people that are involved in independent wrestling today, talking about dates that he has that are announced, some that may be announced soon. So it'll be interesting to say that. I do think this would be an opportunity if he was available on the SmackDown side, but he's not. Is Miz? I think this would be a great platform to reintroduce Miz. He was on the media tour this week for WWE. He did one of the they had several WWE superstars a part of like one tape bit for the late show on CBS, and Miz was one of them. I was like, this is interesting. He's not on TV at the moment. He's just off Dancing with the Stars.
A pipe dream would be you got Bobby Lashley on one end, and this this feud's going to eventually happen.
Brock Lesnar.
Adam Pearce reinstates Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar comes back, it's just for Roman.
I think it's not coming back till the Rumble, though, to be honest with you. So I'm sure it's going to be a lackluster fill-in. Like, I mean, they announced the fill-in for the women's team on social media again with Tony Storm being the 5th. So, they're not really taking this 5-on-5 to be really that serious because they're doing all these announcements on social media.
Bobby Batito asking if independent wrestling darling Sky Blue is signed with AEW. Well, I've worked with Sky in AAW. I can tell you she will be a part of the action. AAW November 26th, Black Friday, worldwide on pay-per-view from the south side of Chicago at Bourbon Street. She's going to be taking on Allison Kay. Allison Kay of Impact Wrestling fame. AK Don't Play. You knew her as Sienna. And that's gonna be a big match. And Allison Kay has said some very derogatory things about Sky, saying that she's a little girl, she's 100 pounds soaking wet. I don't think Sky is going to take too kindly to that. Sky has wrestled for All Elite Wrestling several times on Dark, and did appear in the most recent All Out pay-per-view. I can tell you, I don't know if she signed, but does have
not officially yet.
No, so she does have a pretty strong relationship with the company. That's what I do know. I don't know if she signed it at this point, though. It wouldn't surprise me if she does get signed at some point with them. So other people chiming in here with their different ideas and all these different things here. Here we'll talk about Survivor Series is coming. David Barclay, man, the Survivor Series is playing out so horribly. Zero build, no feuds anyone cares about. No, there are feuds that people care about. Becky and Charlotte, they care about that. Not even half joking, the Night of Champions 2011 card will beat this week. You bring up a very specific, non-classic WWE show.
December to Dismember.
No, this isn't that bad. To say this is that bad is ridiculous.
No, there'll be some good matches. The build has been crap, but I mean that's a WWE formula. They know that you're already reeled in. They don't have to get pay-per-view buys anymore, so they don't really. A lot of times they don't worry about the build as much anymore. But they still, will put on usually a decent show on pay-per-view.
I'll say something kind of controversial. I've been enjoying Raw recently. I've been enjoying Raw more recently, and not the build for the pay-per-view. It's just what they're doing with Kevin Owens, where he's turning heel, and you got him guessing, Seth Rollins being absolutely ridiculous with these outfits and these promos, and Big E just getting pissed off at everybody around him as he's the champion. Everyone's coming for him. I'm not saying I love it, but it's getting better. It's intriguing me, It's making me feel like, oh wow, I got to make sure I don't miss what's going to happen with them a little bit. There's other stuff in the show that pales in comparison to the intrigue on that. And SmackDown is still a strong show. It still performs very, very well. So I think Survivor Series does need stakes. I agree with that. You had other people saying that the brand supremacy thing is kind of flat with a lot of
Drew's been saying it. Becky's been saying it.
We have an interview up, by the way, a fresh one with Drew McIntyre right now. You can check it on the channel. A whole lot more. Once again, tomorrow afternoon, I want you guys to tune in for this. Be here for this. Play along with us and join us for this year. Survivor Series Trivia. This is going on at 3 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, and 2:30 a.m. IST time. Join us for this. It's going to be really, really fun. 4-on-4 here. Also, to remind you, we have a brand new show. This is going to be exclusive, bro, to our Instagram, bro. It'll be the Bro Show, Diamond Dallas Page, and Vince Russo with Dr. Chris Featherstone. This will drop on Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. 9:30 Central, and that'll be exclusive to our Instagram. That will not be on any other platform, just on Instagram. You'll be able to check that out there.
IG, baby.
So definitely, if you haven't done it already, give us a follow on there as well. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Obviously, you can check out Jeremy on your podcast. Jeremy, where are they going?
Lost in the mid card. We're on a hiatus right now. Matt has some family in the hospital with COVID, and that I got sick, and so it's just been a mixture of things between the two of us. So we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but hopefully we'll be back soon. But Lost in the mid card, you can find it on podcast and YouTube as well.
Scott Burke knows just what to do here. He knows just what to do. What to do. He put it right up on the screen before we could here. When watching wrestling, so much to cover this weekend with Survivor Series, the big trivia battle tomorrow, the post show on Sunday night. Just enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.